If you are a global farmer like me, this mod will be great for you. I mean AutoDrive mod. And I have to say that the most interesting is at the end of this guide. But you shouldn't skip anything, because I'm gonna go from the easiest to the hardest parts. The very first thing that you will see after enabling AutoDrive is this dialog. My decision on this depends on the map. Some maps have developed traffic and some of them have not. In this case, I prefer to say yes, just for demonstration purposes and to save time. Please pay attention to these routes on the right side. It is the result of my previous decision. AutoDrive generated these routes based on the map traffic. On the Elm Creek map, I personally don't like these routes, because on the most of the routes there are two lines, and it is a bit of a pain in the ass to manage them. The first thing that we should do in order to get an advantage of this mod is to create the base route through our base. I'd like to start here because it is the most flat part of my base, and this fact is really important. To record the course around our base, all that we need to do is hit this record button. Now our goal is to carefully drive around the base, staying away from the buildings. This course shouldn't go to any specific place. It's just the base course that will be branched in the future to all needed places. Also, I should mention that you'll probably modify this course in the future, because no one is perfect and mistakes are inevitable. Now, at the exit from the base, we almost finished with this base course. We should stop the recording and connect our new route to the base network. I recommend you use these routes in the middle of the road to avoid problems with wider vehicles in future use. We need to connect our routers to both route directions. But be careful and do not mix the route directions itself. To make turns more smooth, we can use the scroll wheel, and it will smooth lines like that. Now it's time to correct the base routes generated by the AutoDrive previously. Let's start from this side road and connect it to the main street. Both directions, don't forget it. Let me actually make these lines a bit more visible for you. That is definitely better. On this crossroad we have a bit more problems, because we need to restore the path. Let's start from the restoration of the main route. Then let's create those turns. Let's fix the same problem here. And I'm gonna skip these turns just to save time. Now let's create the route around fields. To this point it will be one-way route as we created previously, but the route around fields I'd like to create using both ways route. To create it, we should click on the same button, but use the right mouse button this time. Let me explain that. I'd like to use both ways routes here, because we have a space for the only one route, but we wanna drive it in the both ways. And with that done, let's connect this route to both routes on the road, because we remember that this route could be used in both ways. Now let's return a bit to the back and add little branch to this route, to utilize an additional exit and one more field. And connect it to the both sides, of course. The last thing about fields route is to add a bit points to utilize the last field. With that done, we can start creating endpoints. I always try to create endpoints in some pockets, to not block the main path by the vehicle standing here. But in this particular case, I see no major reason to create a pocket, because there we have dead-end route. I'll show you what I mean by saying pockets in a minute. So to create a pocket, I activate the record with the right mouse button to make it both ways. Please note that the pocket should be long and wide enough to not block the main route. And now, the very last thing to do here is to create an endpoint somewhere in the middle. Let's create another pocket for the nearest field in the same way. I believe we can create even one more exit from this field that might be useful. Let's just do this. So, with all that preparation done, we can finally utilize our roads network. Let's do this with the first vehicle. Let's assume that we want to harvest field 32. All that we need to do is select the harvester, select the endpoint, and activate AutoDrive. Oops, he can do this right from this point, because we didn't fix the base route network this way yet. But from here he starts like a charm. Let's watch for him to make sure that all works fine. Also, we can turn on the course play collaboration here, and the harvester should start work after arrival. But not in this case though, because the header is not attached. But if we attach the header and deactivate the route, the harvester starts work immediately. Isn't it awesome? Well, let's go further and configure the helper unloader for this harvester. Firstly, we should create a new branch from the base route on our base. Something like this. Please note that all the points for loading or unloading should always be a bit beyond the actual point, because typically we're loading or unloading the trailer, not the vehicle itself. You know what? Now I see that I failed on vehicle selection. This trailer is not the best example for this job, because it is an auger wagon, and it is meant to be unloaded over the pipe. You can create a separate route for the trailers like this, of course, but for simplicity let's select another, standard trailer. This one should be fine. Let's select the harvester unloading mode, the field where the harvester working, and the unloading point, of course. Let's go, little guy. Oh, he trying to drive around the base. Let's create a shortcut for task like that. And now we can send him to the job. Like previously, let's watch for him a bit to see if it is working. He arrived at the point and immediately started unloading the harvester. Isn't it amazing? But I show you even more interesting thing when this little guy is full. Let's leave these two for now and go to the next cases of AutoDrive usage. So let me demonstrate the similar but a bit more cool example with that potato harvester. In this case, we could just generate the course using courseplay on needed field. I'm not gonna explain details here, there will be a separate guide about courseplay. And then just select needed field, turn on the courseplay integration and hit Go button. That's all, the harvester will go to the field and start working. And of course, we can attach the unloader for him, in the exact same way. Oops, it looks like we have a collision here. These two guys can't share the road. Let's help them. Nice, we did that. Let's watch for this little guy. I promised you to show something interesting. And check that out, he unloaded the crop to the mill and now returning to the field, without any actions from my side. The next case is a bit tricky, but harvesting vegetables is a complex topic, in farm sim anyway. For the tractor with vegetable harvester attached, we need only generate a new course on the field and send him to the job. But for unloader, we actually need to create an unloading point at this soup factory and send it to the job with the same settings as for all harvesters. And check that out, these two guys working in a synchronous pair. But I should be honest with you, there could be some problems with this setup, and you should hold your eye on vegetable harvesting to solve the problems that might arise here. But do not judge AutoDrive too hard, it's still in beta. And this is it for today. I did my best to cover all interesting cases, so hope this guide will be helpful. Try this mod and it could become one of your favorites.